Hey, what's up, everybody? Doing a little test here tonight, trying to get some banners out and trying to get some followers going and getting this. We're gonna have some new things next week. But I see my buddy Maverick in the background, sniffing around on a Saturday night. No, it's a little late, but just had to get something off my chest here. Okay, had to get something off my chest, and what that is the trade Ben Simmons talk. I don't have any idea on why we want to continually want to trade one of our generational talents, especially now with the guy being injured, right? Like now all of a sudden we're talking about trading Ben Simmons again. I've been over this 1,000 times. I continue to talk about the same thing over and over again. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Give me a new coach first to see what he could do with these two talents, and then we can talk. But I'm not ready to get rid of one of my guys. I'm not ready for that. Yeah, and obviously, I know, I get it. It's all going to depend on obviously who we get in return or what the package is going to be. But I want to see what these two guys can do in a new system. Again, with a new coach. And obviously, if we're talking about 6 weeks for Ben Simmons, we may not even see Ben Simmons for the rest of the year, right? So we already know that as Sixers fans. So until I could see Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons on the court together with a new identity underneath a new coach, I'm not ready to hit the trade button for anybody at all. And I completely understand everybody's frustration sometimes, and I see it. Listen, you see Devin Booker's name right being mentioned, and some people are saying on Twitter, and obviously Twitter doesn't mean it's real, but still talking about it could be the perfect scenario if we talk about perfect destination for Devin Booker to come to Philly. Well, the biggest issue I have with that is what are we giving up to get Devin Booker? And you want to know why people want Devin Booker? It's because they watch teams like the Celtics play. And they watch Kemba Walker and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just shoot the lights out. Then they go on and they watch Portland and they watch Dame and they watch CJ shoot the lights out. This is what we don't have. And this is what we continue to talk about on this team. We overpaid for Tobias Harris to be that guy, and he's not that guy, right? He's not that guy, and I understand that. And people say, well, we win by defense. Okay, that's great. You have a great defensive team. I understand that. And we seen that with Toronto when they played the Lakers, and they only gave up 72 points, and they played hard, and they played gritty because that's how they are. But that's not going to happen all the time, and I don't think you're going to be able to see that in an NBA playoff type format, especially now when we talk about Orlando. So, this is just a quick vent because I'm just trying to test things out, and I'm learning how to use StreamYard. Okay, we're adding some people here for the heat ratio, which is fun to me. This was my own project. Started 2 years ago. Brought John in. He was my partner from day one. Brought Dave in. And now I brought Mike in, and now we're gonna bring some other people in. And this is. I just wanted to be this. I say vent zone, but I've opened this up to anybody and everybody who wants to use a platform in order to get their voices heard, because I don't think enough people get enough notoriety out there. I really don't. And when I go across things, you go across the timeline and you see people talk about Ben Simmons, and you see people talk about trading them already. I got to get on here and talk. I have to, and I continue to talk and continue to vent, because this can't happen, people. We're not trading Ben Simmons. Stop. We don't trade Ben Simmons. Here's the thing. If you bring a guy in like a Devin Booker, you want Ben Simmons to be here. You want him to be the distributor. You need Devin Booker to be able to hit down shots. Okay, and I'm only talking about Devin Booker because that's the name that keeps being dangled around, right? Hey, you hear Cleveland. Oh, Cleveland's going to get a package that Philly can't deny. Okay, what's Cleveland going to give Philly for Ben Simmons? My point is, you drafted this guy, number one overall, to be the guy and the leader on your team. I talked about this before. I really think this isn't Joel's team. I think this is Ben Simmons' team. I think Ben Simmons needs to be the leader. Ben Simmons needs to be the guy who takes his team to the next step. And I don't think that's possible under Brett Brown. Right. And now that Ben is injured and Ben's probably not going to come back, right? And the Sixers are probably going to get a first round exit. Okay. Maybe they get to the second round. Who knows? We see, as you see my doll back there ripping apart a bone. But at the end of the day, this can't be a pass on Brett Brown. This can't be a pass. What's got to happen is a change needs to be made before we get rid of one of our superstars. If you look around the league, right? Think about this. If you went to any other coach in the NBA and said to them, would you take Ben Simmons and Joel on your team at the same time? Would you be able to do something? They would say, hell yeah, absolutely. We would be able to do something. So that's my issue. That's my point. I just think that Ben Simmons, I think that Joel Embiid need a chance to flourish in a different style offense, a different style system under a different coach. And you know what? If it doesn't work, then fine. Trade them both, trade one, whatever the hell you want to do. I don't care. All I know is I want to see these guys flourish in that system or in a different system under a different coach before I'm ready to just let them go, because we can't have that happen. Listen, this team was built around Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. The problem is those guys that are built around them aren't doing the job. They aren't getting the job done. Right? Tobias Harris, I've said it before, I'll say it again, has to be the X factor, but Tobias Harris has to shoot the lights out every single night. Why? He's the only shooter on this team. That's why. So when the double teams happen to Joel, he needs to kick it out to Tobias, which he does, and Tobias has to hit the shot with consistency. I like Tobias Harris. I really do. I just think he's too soft for this system. And I think there's a reason why Tobias Harris has bounced around the NBA as many times as he has at such a young age. I still think this is why. I think he has limitations to his game. And unfortunately, when you pay a guy max money, and you cannot afford to have limitations on his game, especially in a team setting like we're talking about when we're talking about the Philadelphia 76ers. Listen, when we came into this year, we were talking about best team in the East, right? It's before the pause, before the restart. Talk about best team in the East. We were talking about NBA Finals or bust. That cannot change, people. No matter the injury, no matter it doesn't matter. It still has to remain the same. And if you look at some of these teams, okay, that have been around right now, and some of these teams that are in the East that now, who we didn't think were going to be competition, that are. The Miami Heat is one of the most intriguing teams to me in the NFC, in the Eastern Conference. I'm thinking football in my head real fast, right? But in the Eastern Conference, you know why? Because I've said this before. It's all about coaching right now. When you're talking about the NBA bubble, they don't have the tools that they normally have throughout the course of a regular NBA season. They don't have the tools that they normally have at the practice facilities that they're used to having. Okay, they aren't in Trenton right now. They aren't in Camden. The Sixers aren't at the Wells Fargo Center right now. They're not there. They are in Orlando. So Brett Brown has to do the best job he can from a coaching standpoint with limited resources. So what happens is the bigger coaches step up, right? The biggest coach like Nick Nurse, like Eric Spoelstra. And that's why I think the Miami Heat are driven. Jimmy Butler has what he wanted. He wanted a team that was going to listen. He wanted a team that was going to buy in, a team that was going to get down and gritty like JB is. Jimmy Butler worked for everything in his NBA career, everything. And whether you like him or you don't like him, you have to respect the man's grit. You have to respect the man's effort. So guys like Eric Spoelstra, teams like the Miami Heat, they are the ones that scare me. Then when I watch the Boston Celtics, for all you people out there that say the Celtics, because they lose Al Horford and they lose Kyrie Irving, they're not going to be the same team. Guess what? They're better. And you know why they're better? They have players that can hit shots. And what else do they have? They have a coach in Brad Stevens. Again, who I'd rather have any day of the week than Brett Brown. I am not knocking Brett Brown as the ultimate coach, okay? Because I do think, obviously, he doesn't stick around in the NBA without having some sort of knowledge, right? He doesn't stick around in the NBA without understanding how the game works. I just don't think he's able to take these pieces and bring them to fit the puzzle, so to speak. I don't think he's the guy. I just don't. And I think that, until we can figure out who the guy is, until we can figure out what we're going to do going forward, I'm not ready to give up on one of our superstars. Again, that's all I got to say. I want to come on here for a quick vent, see if I could get everything to work here. I've been having some issues with Chrome and with my browser settings for StreamYard. I want to see if I can get the banner working. So things are starting to come together here. Give us a follow at Heat Ratio Sports. Give me a follow at Ticatolo23 on Twitter. Obviously, if you're on Periscope, you could see, obviously the same thing, Ticatolo23. Fox Sports The Gambler, PhillyInfluencers.com, everything under the sun, man. We're out there. We're getting to it. Fantasy football, fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey, Philly sports, local, national, you name it. Everybody stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.